So the whole world is watching this race. And we have two candidates with very different worldviews. Can you talk a little bit about just the global implications of either a Harris presidency or a Trump presidency looking forward? And maybe we have some sense on the Trump presidency, having seen him in the White House, but maybe this will be different. So, anyways, if you could, Mike, maybe share a little bit on the Trump side, what do you see as maybe different, or what would,
Sure.
from a global perspective, what would that look like?
On the foreign policy front, one of the things that has been, I think, this accusation that Donald Trump would destabilize the world. I think for the 4 years that he was in the White House, we had relative peace throughout the world while he was there and during his administration. Now, part of that might be that the president was unpredictable, and foreign adversaries might not move forward with any motion because they were unsure of how the United States government would react. I think it's more than that. I think it's also, if you take NATO as an example, there's a lot been made about disbanding of NATO or how the President Trump denigrates NATO. On the flip side of that, he also pushed, and we're now seeing the results of this push, of our fellow NATO countries paying their fair share, the amount that they promised to NATO, into the coffers of that treaty organization. So we saw, I would make an argument, a level of stabilization on the world stage during the Trump years, because he was basically making everyone take a look at where their treaty agreements were. He was a little unpredictable to our adversaries, and it created this atmosphere. It created this atmosphere of a longstanding peace. Now, in the last 3.5 years, we've had an invasion of Ukraine. We've had the ongoing situation with Hamas and Israel, not to mention a whole other, the withdrawal from Afghanistan, which was an entire disaster. Now, again, these are all part of the Biden-Harris record, and these will all be debated as we go forward. But I don't think that a new Trump administration is going to be as destabilizing as the media or the Democrats would have you believe.
I think I find it interesting that Mike uses the word a little, quite a bit, when the reality is the fact that our adversaries and our allies could not anticipate what Donald Trump would do during his tenure was in and of itself destabilizing. And I think it's a concern not just here, but of course globally. Obviously, another Trump presidency. When we think about the issue of foreign policy, I'm reminded of what Mitt Romney said, which is there's a growing faction within the Republican Party that no longer believes in the Constitution and that supports Putin, who's been a long time adversary of our country. And you go back to the days of the Trump administration, when in the first 30 days he brought in the Russians into the Oval Office and gave them secrets. I mean, the reality is there's still a lot of unanswered questions there around his relationship with Putin. And he clearly is not a friend of Ukraine, and nor is J.D. Vance argued against supporting that ally of ours. And the reality is there's this push to destabilize democracy, not just here, but globally. And that's what's on the line. It's, we talk about democracy in the United States, but it's a global effort that we're looking at right now. And I just, my caution on this is, I take Donald Trump at his word. And, if we go back to when he was the president, I mean, I think every aspect of our lives felt the level of uncertainty and the chaos. I mean, Nikki Haley said it best, his chaotic approach to not just domestic policy, but foreign policy was destructive. I mean, his own vice president called him the American Hitler. So, I mean, we all have reasons to be very concerned about Donald Trump. And I think, we should take him very much at his word, because what he said when he ran the first time, he actually pursued undermining NATO, advancing Putin's agenda. I mean, all of those things were realized. And I just think that it's going to be a double downing of that. And that is a concern to all of our allies right now.